This is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and the lock I have for you today is the Cisa Model 285-75 shutter lock. For its size, this is one of the most solidly constructed shutter locks I've ever seen. It has a solid hardened steel body. It looks like a 12mm shackle that, because of the design of a shutter lock, is very, very difficult to access with any sort of bolt cutters or something like that. I suppose it could be cut with a die grinder or an angle grinder. But with the way these locks are set up, once you get some purchase on the shackle with one of those grinders, they just tend to spin the shackles. So you can get through them, but it's going to take a lot longer. As far as the core goes, we have a really thick retainer plate, a spinner in front of the core, so we have about a 1/4 inch of hardened steel that's guarding a lock with a pretty nasty little keyway. So we're going to see what it takes to pick into this lock, and then of course I will take it apart and show you what's inside. I'm going to use some bottom of the keyway tension here with a thick wiper insert, and we're going to start by picking off a piece of warding that's on the right side of that keyway and see how that treats us going back. Okay, one is definitely binding, got a click out of him. Got a little bit out of two. Let's see, 3. Got a click out of him. Little something out of 4. He feels like a really low set one. I actually can't get my pick past him without oversetting, and I know we have at least one more pin in there. So what I'm going to try to do is work from the bottom and use this number 7 hook and see if I can sneak through the warding to get to number 5. Okay, I think we just got number 5. Let's go back to the beginning of the lock, see what we dropped. Okay, number 1 is definitely down. Got a click out of him and a bit of a false set. Number 2, and I think we got the lock open. Yep, there we go. Okay, let's take this lock apart and see what's inside. To start taking this lock apart, as with many shutter locks, the first thing we have to do is remove the shackle. And to do that, what we do is use a shim and place it so it guards this little notch in the side of the shackle. And I'm going to turn it around, and that shim will block a detent that retains the shackle. So we can pull it right out. And then we can see the detent mechanism. Let me just drop that all out. There we go. The spring and the detent I'll put over here. And that allows us to access a set screw that holds the core retainer plate in. So we're going to remove that set screw, and when we take this out we need to be careful because there is a couple of ball bearings here. Okay, looks like we got the ball bearings. We have the spinner, this thick retainer plate, and now we have the core. Okay, let me give you a better view of all this now. Okay, let's lock this guy back up and see if we can get that clip off the back. Okay, it's a really easily bent clip. And let's get a key. And I think maybe this follower. Yeah, that looks like that should do the trick. Okay, looking at these key pins, looks like we have 5 pins. The first one looks like a steel anti-drill pin. Number 2 has a serration at the top, just a very light one. Number 3, by the way, number 4, if we look at, is right at the shear line. So I think I got a tiny little click out of him, but there's a reason why we couldn't get a pin past him. He was set really, really low. Okay, so we have two pins with serrations, number 2 and 5. Oops, and they were both very, very light serrations. Okay, let's take a look at the driver pins. So like number 1 is a steel anti-drill pin. 2 is a spool. 3 is a spool. So is 4. And 5 is a serrated pin. And doesn't look like there's anything unusual in the core. Okay. Let's see if we can arrange all this so I can give you a good view. Okay, time for our close-up. Let's look at the pins first. Looking at the key pins, you can see 1, 3, and 4 are standards, with number 1 being a steel anti-drill pin. Looks like we have some really light serrations on 2 and 5. Then moving up to the driver pins, we have a steel anti-drill pin in slot 1, standard pin, 3 spools in slots 2 through 4, and a serrated pin in slot 5. Moving over, you can see in slot 7 the detent that holds the shackle in, and then 2 ball bearings and a set screw that presses into those ball bearings that holds the shackle retainer plate on. Okay, now looking at this core, doesn't look like anything particularly unusual about it, but while we have this out, let's take a look at that keyway because it is really, really nasty. You can see on the right side, I said I was picking off a small piece of warding. That's it on the right side, that second bit from the bottom. And then we are lucky that we could sneak that 15,007 hook through there to get slot 5, or this lock would have been very difficult to pick. We can see those 2 holes on either side of the keyway. What they are, it looks like those two little pins that come out of what I thought was a spinner go into them. So while it is drill protection for the core, it does not look like that would spin. It looks like it is locked into the core, the face of the core. But I think drill protection on this lock is pretty impressive. We have that little round plate in front of the core. We have a thick retainer. So between the 2 of them, at least a 1/4 inch of steel to get to it. And then once you're in the core, we have some anti-drill pins in slot 1. So all in all, not a lot to complain about with this Cisa model 285/75. That's all I have for you on it today. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.